welcome everyone. I just looked outside and it's raining pretty solid. It looks like the sun's about to shine. The sky is pretty bright. I'm really grateful for the rain. We could use a pretty good dose right now. But overall, it's been a pretty amazing year in the garden with such an early start and a surge of growth. Gardeners are out there working like crazy to try and control it all. We're getting to the tail end of the pine pruning, and soon we'll be working on the deciduous material and try to make definition from what is becoming quickly a jungle out there. But there's been so many good things happening in the garden. The music series has been fantastic with I think 10 more weeks coming on Tuesday evenings. Have you all seen the new bridge out there? The new bridge railings and posts? That was part of really a 10-year effort and a lot of fundraising. It was raised almost entirely from generous support from the community and our sponsors. And it was about a $167,000 project. But it's fabulous craftsmanship, the best materials that are available. And we're really happy with the effort that David Shibosh, the craftsman from Ojai, California, and his assistant Danny Shimoda, they did a beautiful job. If you look at the fit and finish of that thing, it's like fine cabinet work. Lecture series has been great. Last month we had Bob Downs to talk about Niwado, or the way of the garden, a really great approach to gardening. Next month we have Professor Charo D'Echeverry from the University of Wisconsin at Madison. She's a part of the Center for East Asian Studies up there, and she's going to lecture on a look at the tales of Genji, a very prominent piece of Japanese literature from I think about the year 1020, if I'm not mistaken. And she's going to approach it from the name of the presentation is Genji in the Garden: Love, Politics, and Plants. And so she's going to look at the way plants were used poetically to sort of talk around difficult situations and used to communicate very carefully in various challenging circumstances. So tonight's program I've been looking forward to for a long time. Maybe back up just a little bit and how the spirit of Japan's hospitality profoundly impacted the garden's founder, John Anderson, on his first trip to Japan in 1966. So he came away with just how careful things were done and how people were gracefully treated in so many circumstances, and how that really impacted him. Beyond the power of the gardens to create an aura of peace and calm, and the way those gardens made him feel. So that was that trip and that feeling from the Japanese people were such an important influence on him. And from the garden's inception, he has been focused and insistent, and I think that since its inception, we have all aspired to be the best possible host for all of our guests, as so well illustrated with tea ceremony. And so we hope that we can, we strive to achieve Japan's culture of hospitality. So we are so happy to have Professor Jennifer Gunji here with us tonight. She's the director at Japan House at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. She'll discuss Omotenashi, Japan's culture of hospitality. Then to enunciate her presentation, many of you know her mother, Professor Kimiko Gunji. Gunji-sensei will host a tea ceremony as an expression and an example of Japan's culture of hospitality. First, Jennifer has been director at Japan House for already 13 years. I can't hardly believe that, but she took over what is really a significant and important responsibility from her mother. And for those of you who have not experienced Japan House, it's really a marvelous institution focused on the teaching the cultural arts of Japan. Fabulous urasenke tea rooms and at some point in the not too distant future, in addition to that facility, which will really expand opportunities. And her mother, Professor Emeritus Kimiko Gunji, was actually the founder of the New Japan House in 1998. And it's just recently that founding was celebrated along with her teaching for 50 years now at the university, where she is still extremely active in its education programs, as well as all the things she does here at Anderson Japanese Gardens, where over the last, well, really since even before retirement and in retirement, a tremendous array of really fantastic cultural offerings here, from kimono dressing to Wagashi, the Japanese sweets making, and just a Zen aesthetics, more than I'm going to list here. But it's a tremendous wealth of knowledge, and then she was also really the most important entity in the founding of the Anderson Japanese Garden Tea Study Group, which many of its members are here today, and it's become a fantastic group that really is able to express important cultural aspects of Japan, and then that culture of hospitality to our guests. They'll be doing tea ceremony at our summer festival, which is at the last weekend in July. We'll have tea ceremonies in the guest house, tea house, and at the round gazebo back at the West Waterfall. So I can say on behalf of all of Anderson Gardens family and community how grateful we are to both of them for their contributions to improving the lives of so many, and to have them here, to have both of them here. I think is it the first time you've both been here together? Yeah. So that's a pretty rare and wonderful thing. And then actually we have a third generation right here. Gunji Sensei's granddaughter Mika is here with us. So we have 3 generations of Gunji women here with us tonight. So to start things off, let's please give a warm welcome to Jennifer Gunji.
Hello, everyone. As Tim said, I'm Jennifer Gunji-Ballsrud, Director of Japan House, University of Illinois campus. It's been a great honor and pleasure to be able to be the director at Japan House after filling very large shoes of my mother, even though she only wears a size 5. I'm trying to fill them and trying my best to fill them. But we really do have this incredible institution there, organization that has the opportunity to share Japanese arts and culture to not only the University of Illinois students, but also to the broader community. And one of our very exciting achievements most recently is that we established a Japan House, or a Japanese aesthetics minor. So it's the first time, if students take X number of classes, I believe it's 18 hours of classes, of Japan House specific classes, they can actually earn a Japanese aesthetics minor from the University of Illinois. And that was instituted about 1.5 years ago to 2 years, and we've already had 4 students graduate with this minor. So it's pretty exciting to be able to say, after so many years, I mean, we have a history of 60+ years on this campus in one form or another, but to be able to say that we actually have a minor at the University of Illinois, and that it's not just elective courses that you can take, but to earn a minor has been really fantastic. But I'm here today to talk to you about Omotenashi, Japanese hospitality. I found this kind of concept very interesting, and something that I have kind of grown up with, being Gunji Sensei's daughter and visiting Japan many times and living in Japan and experiencing it myself, and never really knew kind of the terminology and the concepts behind it, just kind of absorbed it and enjoyed it and thought, wow, the service and the hospitality in Japan is so wonderful, but never really analyzed it until much later in life when I took over as director. And it really kind of, this term became very popular, or became better known outside of Japan, when Crystal Takigawa, who was the bid ambassador for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, she was the one that described the concept of Omotenashi to the International Olympic Committee when they were trying to bid for that, the Olympics to be in Tokyo at that time. And she stated which I thought was really quite wonderful. The essence of Omotenashi is service from the heart. It's without expectations of getting something in return, and it means not just providing outstanding service, but providing hospitality that goes up and beyond without the expectations of the person receiving the service. Omotenashi, it entails paying very close attention, thinking carefully about the needs of the guest and others, and acting before even one thinks that they need something. So that was her statement, and obviously the Olympics did eventually take place in Tokyo. So if we were to break this word down, omote, the first part of it, it literally translates to carry or to public face. And then there's nashi, so the second half of the word, which means without expectation or literally just nothing. So omotenashi is an offering to the public or guests without anticipating anything in return. And then it is taking care of others wholeheartedly and genuinely. It's hospitality without superficiality. And omotenashi can be thought of as a uniquely it's something that is uniquely Japanese, and it seems to be a part of the cultural fabric. And I think a wonderful example of this is this image that you see here. If any of you, I'm sure many of you have been to Japan, and hopefully you've ridden the Shinkansen or the bullet train. But after the cleaning crew goes into the Shinkansen and cleans many times a day, they will literally stand outside of the door and just bow quietly like this as patrons enter the train. And this is just not like expecting anything in return from the guests that are entering, but just humbly and with humility, welcoming those guests very quietly onto the Shinkansen. So what is the difference between service and omotenashi? So in the West, I believe that service generally refers to the relationship between a service provider and a customer, and transactions are often monetary. And with Western service, it's often hoped that the customer will not only pay, of course, but even provide a tip if that's appropriate. And in Japan, what's interesting is that tipping is not appropriate, and nor is it expected. And it's often actually considered quite rude if you try to push a tip onto somebody. And somebody like me who lives in America and understands tipping culture and feels like it's an important part of culture in the Western world, I've often, and I've seen Gunji Sensei do this too, try to tip people who have gone up and beyond, and they're like, really, please don't tip me. This is part of my job. This is part of what I'm supposed to be doing. So though in some Western service can go up and beyond, and for others, the emphasis is the meeting and the needs of that individual. So we're trying to just meet the needs of that individual. Whereas in Japan, omotenashi is not only going up and beyond for others, but by doing so, it's providing a sense of peace and tranquility for that individual so they can just relax and be, and not have any kind of needs or kind of like, is this happening, is this not happening? It's already been taken care of. Sharing omotenashi ensures an extraordinary experience for a person by understanding that there is no such thing as menial tasks or anything that's beneath them. And that's a really important concept, because oftentimes there are so many things that need to be done from a service provider standpoint. Sometimes you're like, oh, I need somebody else to do that, or somebody else beneath me should do that because I am too good for that, or that's not part of my job. But when there's something that needs to be done, it just needs to be done. So the spirit of omotenashi, it needs to be invisible, and it should not feel intentional by the guest. So how does this sense of omotenashi, or the sense of responsibility for omotenashi, get ingrained in the minds of the Japanese? Started to really analyze this and research this and try to have a better understanding of it. And so one element that I believe that we can attribute this to is the requirement of having students clean their schools each day as a group. And to me, this is an incredible concept, and I think it's a fantastic concept. And it instills in these children this value of working together as a group. And it's not about an individual doing one thing or somebody else doing something for them, but it's about a group achievement. It teaches children that public spaces like a school is a shared space, and everyone is responsible for maintaining it and caring for it. Japanese parents and educators are often asked, you know, are your students, your children learning when doing this? And they believe that they're learning to understand their responsibility to their surrounding, showing respect to their surrounding, to be mindful, that it's better that you don't make a mess, because if you're the one that has to clean it up, you don't want to have to clean it up. So let's keep it clean when we're doing things. Public spaces are everybody's responsibility. It's not some other magical person that comes into the space, it's our responsibility. And then it's an appreciation for a group mentality. These students start to learn how important a group mentality is. And encouraging children to take care of his or her surroundings at a very young age instills the importance of respect. Respect for public spaces, respect for how things are treated, and ultimately, again, respect for the group. And that becomes a really critical component for that of Omotenashi. It's a really, I mean, if you look this up online and watch these videos of these children cleaning their schools, it is fantastic, because I'm just always like, it's like kind of my giddy moment. I'm like, yes, look at these children clean. It's so wonderful. It makes me feel so happy. So Omotenashi, it transcends mere politeness, and it's deeply grounded in selflessness and mutual respect. Omotenashi shares this profound, ingrained Japanese dedication to delivering exceptional care for others by, first of all, abandoning self-interest. Don't think about yourself first. Thinking about others first becomes very critical, and sharing with others a graciousness, a warmth, and attentiveness. So because we're walking by these law enforcement individuals, we will bow, because this is the natural way to show respect. So in Japan, in Japanese culture, if you've ever been in a drinking culture with a host, it is very inappropriate, or it's very rude if the host is not attentive to that of the guest's need. So a guest cup or glass should never get under half full. It's very important that the host is always aware of the needs of the guest. In a department store, for example, when you come to a department store, the big department stores, that everybody on the floor, from the managers to the people behind the counters, they will all step away from their workspace and they will bow to all of the customers that are entering into the space. And once again, on the bullet train, there's often food and drink service throughout the cars. And upon entering the car, even if you're not facing that individual, the individual will bow and then quietly make their way through, offering goods and services to all of the people sitting on the train. And then before they leave the train car, they'll turn around and bow. And they don't have to do this, and not anybody, no one's like bowing back to them, but this is how they showcase respect. So there's so many forms of omotenashi that I believe are simply part of Japanese culture, and it's so much so that it's not that it's expected, but it's just simply what happens. So I'm going to show you several examples. One is shoe etiquette. As you know, likely, when you enter some restaurants and some temples and some homes in Japan, you will be asked to take your shoes off. And that's just a natural part of the setting. And so it is really important for you to be thinking, okay, I'm taking my shoes off, so how do I tidy my own shoes and make sure that they're neat so that they're not haphazardly left? But if you don't, or if they're kind of placed awkwardly off to the side, the host will typically prepare your shoes properly so that it's facing you, so that when you step off the step, that it's ready for you to slip into your shoes. Another wonderful concept is baskets. So in a lot of restaurants and cafes, baskets are often brought to you quietly by the waiters or the servers, and they're placed right next to you on the floor so that if you have bags, that you're not putting them on the floor. So your handbag won't touch the floor, or your shopping bag won't touch the floor. You would put them in a basket. Another example are taxi cabs. In Japan, many taxi cabs have, all taxi cabs have automatic doors, so you never have to touch the door. You don't have to open the door, nor do you have to close it. And the taxi cab drivers will often put white lace covers on their seats so that they can show a sense of cleanliness and purity, and then also wear white gloves. Moving companies is another really great example. If you ever live in Japan and you hire a moving company, they will very carefully lay down cardboard or blankets or something to cover the floors so that they don't scratch up the floors. But even so, as they're moving things in and out, because they're going inside and outside, they're constantly taking their shoes off and then getting in the box and then putting their shoes back on, going to the truck, coming back off, coming back and doing it over and over again. Even though you're not even going to live there anymore, they're going to be doing this. Dry ice. So this was a wonderful showcase of Omotenashi that I personally experienced. My aunt and I and my sister were in Japan, and she wanted to buy ice cream. Okay, so we went to a Baskin Robbins, or a 31 flavors, which I thought was quite ironic. And she wanted to get 12 different scoops because we were going to share this with somebody. And so they have this wonderful, beautiful container, and it goes inside of a box, and she selected 12 different scoops. And then the owner of the shop person said, how long will it be before you arrive at your destination? So she said, I'm going to be taking such and such a train, and then from there we have to walk, and then this and that. And she was like, so approximately this. So he's like doing the calculation, and he packs this ice cream in this box that has dry ice underneath it. And it lasted all the way, and the ice cream was perfect. And we didn't even eat it until much later, and it was still perfectly cold and perfectly warm. Umbrellas, umbrella machines or umbrella bags. They will bring this out when it rains, and so you never even have to touch a wet umbrella when you enter your space. You can just put it there, it'll wrap your umbrella, and then that's in most businesses, shops, and hotels. And it's really this wonderful concept because during the rainy season, you do not want the rain or the umbrella to be dripping on you or dripping within the space. So again, another wonderful form of omotenashi. And then the last example that I have is mask culture. Japanese people have worn masks forever and ever and ever, way well before the pandemic. And it was this sense of responsibility for the group. If I feel like I have slightly a cold, then I'm gonna wear a mask so that I don't spread my germs. And so it's about the respect for the group and for others. So though we often connect omotenashi to that of hospitality and service, the spirit of omotenashi extends beyond this. Omotenashi is a philosophy in which every action is done not only genuinely, but with utter commitment and without pretense. The traditional mindset is best exemplified in the Japanese way of tea. Sen Rikyu, the great tea master of the 1500s, not only codified the way that we practice tea today, but he established a path for us to follow in tea through his 4 principles. He thoroughly developed these principles to be evident in every aspect of the study and the sharing of tea, which you will see tonight. But he wanted these principles to not just be experienced in tea, but to be ingrained in our daily lives. So these principles were, or are, wa, kei, sei, and then jaku. And Sen Rikyu imparted the way of tea that he stated that the way of tea was embodied in these 4 principles, and he believed that the way of tea was ultimately the way of life: harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. So to start out with wa, or harmony. So wa is considered one of the most important ideals for human beings. And in the way of tea, harmony is shared through a oneness that is developed between the host and the guest, and that of with nature, and with the objects and utensils that are selected. Even tonight, you can see they have selected these beautiful artifacts to be used tonight that are seasonally appropriate. The taoki is glass, so that it kind of makes a cooling sense because it's so warm outside. And the mizusashi, having the blue and white pattern, also gives a cooling effect. So harmony can be realized in many different ways throughout the tea ceremony. It's how the host interacts with the guest. It's always about the host and the guest having this harmony between one another because they're thinking about the other. They're thinking, if their roles were reversed, how would we interact with this person? So that's what harmony is always about. It's always about reversal of roles. Harmony is a unity between people, our natural surroundings, how we see the world, and it's a developed interconnectedness that we can feel and that we should feel with ourselves so that we can feel that with others. Harmony is an equilibrium, I believe, between humanity, nature, and the world that we live in. And cultivating this understanding for harmony is critical in omotenashi. Ultimately, harmony can lead us to peace. The next principle is kei, respect. Respect is the ability, obviously, the translation is simple. It's the ability to accept others for who they are, even if their beliefs are different from ours. And it's the respect is a showing of this kindness, a type of kindness through humbling ourselves. And it is the conscious actions that we do and this mutual consideration for all people and for all things that respect can actually be manifested. Without this, it can't be manifested. You can say, I respect you, you can say, I respect this object, but if you treat it harshly or you say this without really meaning it, without this pure sense of why you're saying it, then respect is not attainable. In the way of tea, for instance, we strive wholeheartedly to treat all individuals equally and with utter attentiveness. And we must share that same attitude with everything that we use, everyday things that we use also, and how we set things up. Even though you might not be in the room, I'm sure that this setup obviously showcases that the people that did this, all of the students of Gunji Sensei and Tim-san, did it with the other sense of respect. Sharing respect asks each of us to be a little bit more mindful with our time. It asks us to slow down. It asks us to really think about our interactions with others and how we manage things. It is a deliberateness and an intentionality that has to be honed and cultivated through effort and time. It doesn't just happen overnight. We have to practice it. We have to find ways to slow down so that it gives us the chance to become more mindful and to recognize what we're saying, what we're doing it, how we're doing it, and how that's manifested. Respect is true acceptance. Then there's sei, which is purity. Purity is the cultivation of a pure heart, mind, and spirit, our kokoro. The purity is not just about cleanliness, but is one about true sincerity. In tea, purity is not simply about having an orderly space and an orderly garden, even though that's what we need and we should have, but it's also, most importantly, about having a clear mind. That's what the type of purity that we're striving for. It's letting go of any extraneous thoughts, ideas, and allowing oneself to really be in the moment, to fully focus on the moment. Sharing a bowl of tea, the host must do everything in front of the guests, showcasing their honest intention and earnest efforts. This is kind of the profound aspect of tea. We do everything in front of you. Obviously there's setup, but everything's done. There's nothing hidden. We can't hide what we're doing. We don't go behind those screens and make a bowl of tea and bring it to you. Everything is showcased right here. So your heart is shared. Hopefully your true, sincere heart is shared. And that is when Omotenashi is really realized in tea. Purity is having a sincere and open heart. And then the last principle, jaku, or tranquility. It's an aesthetic concept that is truly unique to the Japanese way of tea and to Japanese culture in many, many ways. Sen Rikyu believed that tranquility could only be attained if you constantly practice the first three principles diligently of harmony, respect, and purity. So how do we practice that? Well, you have to develop a pure heart first. You have to start to slow down and to become more mindful so that then you can show respect to others, to the things and objects that we touch, to the space that in which we live. And then once we do that, then harmony can be attained. And so we have this harmonious sense. And then that leads us to a tranquil state of mind. And that's what we want to attain when we're practicing tea. We want to attain this tranquil sense of time and space so that we can all have peace together. It's only after the first three concepts of harmony, respect, purity are realized, experienced, and embraced can people truly embody tranquility. So Sen Rikyu, he founded these four principles as a way of tea, and he hoped for each of us to implement them in our daily lives. Omotenashi is sharing with each other sharing the concept that each moment of our lives should not be taken for granted, and that we should put forward our whole heart, mind, and spirit into everything that we do. And everything that we do and every interaction that we have deserves our full attention. And the reality is, if you're not going to do that, then you should be questioning yourself, why are you doing it? You have to want to put in your full heart, your whole spirit, so that we can really appreciate and cherish every moment. And that concept is known as Ichigo, Ichie, which is translated into one life, one opportunity. This concept, it provides a core for all of us, not just in tea ceremony, because it is about every moment passes. And if we don't think about it sincerely and we don't think about it mindfully, it's gone and it's already past us. So Omotenashi asks us to re-examine how we could and should share our time through our sincere heart, mind, and spirits. It's not asking for us to be flawless. It's not asking for the highest level of skill or perfection, but it's simply asking for you to put forward a genuine heart, put forward this true willingness, put forward an effort with utter sincerity, because the opportunity will never come again. Of course, Gunji Sensei has done, I want to say, hundreds of thousands of teas, but she can be like, oh, this is just another tea. Or this is an opportunity that will never come again. And that's what's always in her mind when she does tea. It's one life, one opportunity. And so we have to take advantage of that from the sense that she will put her whole heart into it, because this group can gather again tomorrow and we could ask you to come back tomorrow, but we'll all be different tomorrow. And so it is about taking this moment and embracing this moment and recognizing that it'll never happen again. So Sen Rikyu once stated, this is a wonderful quote of his that was translated, but he said, because life is full of uncertainty, one must engrave in his heart the events of that day as if there is no tomorrow. This day and the sharing of tea should be thought of always as a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and one, along with others, must wholeheartedly approach the day and tea with utter sincerity. I thank you all very much for listening to me, and I'm hoping that this kind of gives you a nice segue to better understand the spirit behind the way of tea instead of just watching it, but understanding that every element about tea is about putting forth sincere heart, mind, and spirit, a sincere heart, sincere kokoro for all of you, so that you can ultimately also embrace the four principles that Sen Rikyu set before us of harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. Thank you very much.
So Jennifer, would you like us to take a break and then if there are questions, maybe?
No, I don't think so, because I think Gunji Sensei said that we should go right into tea. Is that correct?
So maybe a few minutes to, for us to
reset. And then if there's questions afterwards, Gunji Sensei and I are happy to answer them after tea.
So we'll have this maybe 5 minute break. And the restrooms are located right down this hallway, right over here. So we'll change the room around a little bit and then we'll be ready.
today Chim-san and Sachio-san to be guests. So, but they are representing all of you, so you can kind of think that. No, it's okay. You heard me, right? But yeah, very happy to be here. And as she mentioned, it's one opportunity comes once in your lifetime, even though I have done thousands of times. Today is, let's see, today June 20th, right? And then just happened to my daughter here, my granddaughter, it will happen again. Might happen, but we are all 1 year. When we meet, we are older than we are now. So hopefully we can show you how this ceremony goes about. So this is actually used in modern way. So perfect when you just had a knee surgery, but you can also see a better. So yeah. So we should be all standing and bowing. So and welcoming the guests. Thank you so much for being my guest. My honor to serve you both. So Tim mentioned that I have been coming here last almost 20 years or more. Tea group started like about 15 years ago. 15. Every time I have to think about it. But great group of people. So now I have Keiko-san, who's my hanto, and helper, and then Sachio-san, Chim-san, all my students going to, and a few of the other students. You'll be seeing them doing tea during our festival time, so please do come and see. as you can see, when you have only two guests like this, one after another, you host will making it. There are lots more than some of the tea we prepared in preparation room. But somehow it really got hot today. Normally this type of tea, you don't have to give this particular small fukusa that we use, but it's really chawan itself, summer chawan, it's kind of thin, so hot for the guests, so I thought maybe they can use my fukusa. So it's kind of thinking about, even though it's not the part of the procedure, so those of my students say, why is she doing that? That's not right, maybe. You know, the sudden something like that happens, how to do it as a guest, as a helper, it's kind of screwed up a little bit. The most important thing is the guest will enjoy this particular tea in the best way. It's so hot, you can enjoy it. Hopefully, it shouldn't happen like that. In the olden time, we have charcoal building. It's not like electric like this. So then host responsibility, how you build charcoal such that water boils just the right temperature at the time when you serve. So that's quite a technique and consideration you have to put in. However, modern techniques sometimes good, but not working as good. to Jennifer or to me. As she said, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Just happen to be both of us are here. So if you don't ask questions, you might say, oh, should have. So please do. Any, yes? Sir?
This is my, excuse me, this is my first time seeing this. I'm very impressed with the precision of everything. The little tool that you have, it's in the bowl in front of you, almost looks like a whisk of some sort. Can you explain what that is?
Is this
Thank
one?
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is bamboo, like this size.
Yes.
So there are lots of bamboo. Japan, in certain countries that we have all kinds of bamboo, as big as my body, like this, to a tiny finger. Like this. So this size of the bamboo, and then try to figure out how bamboo grows. So this is the way this is knot here, and then slit very finely. Like this is about 180 times, and then to put the around this, make it this shape. But bamboo is a quality that it's very brittle when it's dry. So that's why at the beginning I put hot water and to make it this pliable, and then examination. Of course, I examine very carefully, but again to see any of them just about to break off, that would be dangerous things. So that's what it is. So as you can see, this is another bamboo. That bamboo has section that you can make a cup and ladle, and this is bamboo teaspoon. So when you put it under the heat, you can carve nicely. So that's what this is all about. And to make this as a whisk to whisk. So tea as you, is actually a powder, very fine green fresh tea leaves are washed and dried and ground. So then hot water in there and whip it to make it easier. So for that, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Any other questions? Anything I did kind of weird things she did, or what? That. Or whatever she explained about Omotenashi. So did you, I hope you kind of find how Omotenashi embodied in the whole through of a book. Just bowl of tea, serving. Certainly, if you are just so, physically so thirsty, you can just open the refrigerator and get any kind of pops or anything. But this is actually, as she mentioned, Omotenashi, thinking of this particular moment to share with this person, and the best way you know how to do it, and most memorable way to do it. So then try to select that when Sen Rikyu actually not only like this. By the way, this is also all principle, same one as he explained, in a more artistic way executed, right from top, wa, gei, sei, jaku. The calligraphy artist who comes all the way from Japan often did have a workshop here. She executed this for this tea group. So it's actually Sen Rikyu's the important principle he shared with us, but also he said another thing that I think Omotenashi is, he also told 7 rules of Rikyu. So one of which is, of course, make a most satisfied tea, satisfied with for your guest, best way. So some guests might be like to have a thinner or more thicker. Situation by situation, you have to really think about how much tea you put it in. And hot summer day, you like, today it's actually not really hot tea, but tea bowl is much more flatter, so then it gets cooler. Think like that, you think about it. And then another, within the 7 rules, make sure everything like when hot summer day, make it so look cool. When it's cold winter day, make it so warm. Of course, now all you have to do is summer spot, like this, right? When it's hot, make it down. When it's cold, put it up. However, in olden time, no such facilities, devices, so you have to just look cooler. So like today, it's a hot summer day, so everything kind of looked a little cooler. My kimono too. So that's visually look cooler, look warmer, to think of everyone to be enjoy that particular moment. And then most important thing, among of the 7, he said, put the whole heart into the consideration to the guest you have. That's the most important thing. So it's not what you have to try to show, rather this might be the, this particular guest enjoy to take a look at more closer. Always think about what kind of guest, who is your guest. So that's the most important thing, thinking of others. Any other question? Yes.
How often in Japan do they have these ceremonies? Is it safe for special occasions or?
Many people do only for special occasions. However, this is one of almost over 800 different ways of serving tea. So very formal one to very informal. So informal ones, such as if you have a thermos pot, hot water, and then some of these things you can make boiled tea every morning before you maybe start your day. Some people do that, and some people only special occasions. So it's all varies from one person to another. Maybe to Jennifer. I come back quite often, so but she doesn't. So she can explain much better than maybe I can. Anything? Yes.
You have in Japan, you have to have a license to do tea ceremony?
Yes or no? If you are teaching, yes, you should be having, there's a diploma for all the way from beginners to the, all the way to the full professorship. Takes forever.
How long?
For your lifetime. It's up to, some people do it every day. If your teacher will allow to practice every day, you might be able to get teaching license in 10 years.
I've been studying since '89, and I'm not done. And I don't have I can teach basics, but I can't teach upper level because I'm still studying.
So it can take a decade or longer?
Or longer. I mean, I would say, again, like what she was saying, it depends on how often you can meet with your teacher. And so they used to have a program at our school in Kyoto where you could go and study for a year and dedicate, or 3 years even, and dedicate that time. So it's like getting a master's degree, or even that intensively, it's almost like getting a PhD in tea. And so then you might be able to achieve a certain level after studying like that. But here, like, as this group studies twice a month, once a month?
Twice a month.
Twice a month. And in Champaign, we have a tea study group that studies every week during the semester, so 16 weeks. But also, we also study privately with Gunji Sensei because of upper level teas and how long it takes to learn those. But literally, I've been studying since '89. It's a long time.
Yeah, I'm very happy to say that I have, including Jennifer and a couple others, are coming to the point where are getting instructorship, hopefully within a year or so, 2 years, something like that. So I'm hoping before I get, not able to teach, I like to keep everything what I know. But it's quite an intricate way. But again, don't have to be. Just whip the tea and share this moment with other people, that's friendship. So again, Sen Rikyu said, tea is nothing but just making a tea and enjoy this moment with other people. So that's the most important, enjoy with other people, this moment. So, but another thing I'd like you to kind of notice that what I did was, when you see for the first time, so intricate. However, nothing but I clean the implement in front of you. So then clean implement to make a bowl of tea, serve, and then afterwards, I clean back and put it back exactly the way it is. So So every day when you cook something, you need a clean pot, clean dish every day. So afterward you have to wash and put it back in like places. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, but yet each movement you pay special attention as if this is it. Like even this is not giving just a piece of bamboo, but when I'm cleaning this bamboo, this becomes whole body of me. Try to take all the unnecessary stuff away from me. That kind of thing. So then all of a sudden this bamboo scoop was not just a bamboo, for me. So just pay a little more attention to think of myself as well as others.
How difficult it is to make a nice foamy green. I can never make them.
Yeah, my hand doesn't move as good as other students do anymore, because my student can. So this cup, so, but again, temperature of water, amount of water, how much you put the water makes a difference too.
I think also bowl.
Yeah, bowl.
A flat bowl is very hard.
Very hard.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it depends on, and you will get your rhythm. You really will. Don't give up. You find the perfect bowl and the amount of tea and the right temperature of water, and then it does make a huge difference.
I have several of my students pass me. They can make tea. It's a good way, what you know, you share with others, and hopefully they will get better than I. Yes?
So you mentioned all these different ways and decades to learn how to do it really, really well. So how do the guests understand the nuances of a beginner tea person, an intermediate tea person, and oh my gosh, did I have a tea experience on my last trip?
If you are guest attentively watching, I think you have some feeling come to you. Like, of course, the beginner is fine, very nervous, but put the whole heart into it. So how warm feeling it is, even though technically it might not be as good as, but yet you can feel that sincerity, the heart, kokoro. So that's how the guest is. And then when, of course, the experienced person does smoothly, but yet there's no heart into it, then it's like a machine, right? So you will feel it if you're really paying attention. Yeah, certainly, if you get the complicated, higher level of tea ceremony, guests also have to be rather trained, because it's way you handle and your conversation is all different.
I feel like we spend equal amounts of time learning how to be a guest when you start studying as long as I have, as you do learning to be a host. Because you need to have the understanding of what you have to do and how you can actually respond to that particular tea ceremony and what your responsibility is. Again, you don't, as the host, you would likely never be like, okay, we're gonna do this tea today, and it takes an hour and a half, and there's 2 different types of teas, and you don't know how to do any of that, then you'll feel uncomfortable, right? So it's always about the host kind of thinking about the guest, and the guest also having the knowledge base to be able to be fully participatory. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else? So yeah, again, when very for the first time, person came for the first time to see tea, won't do the very complicated one. Just important to make a bowl of tea and enjoy this moment. So don't have to. Oh, do I have to do this? It doesn't matter as long as you enjoy this bowl of tea. So sometimes you can help. Oh, since you have such a beautiful tea bowl, you should have very carefully put the both hands together. And also, thanking you for this opportunity. And then, this table, as you can see, there is nothing here, right? So this side has beautiful pattern. It's facing toward me, so I can enjoy making more tea. However, I like to share this beautiful portion with the guests. So I turn sure this will be shared with you. And then gets to receive this as the most beautiful portion toward herself. So thanking for this kind offer from the host. However, this beautiful portion was executed by some artist. So I like to pay respect for this artist rather than drinking right there. Thank you. However, I turn this bowl to drink. So that kind of consideration to everyone. Well, thank you very much for your attention. I'm so happy that I was able to come after 3 weeks of my knee surgery. And I was told Tim-san and others, my team group, will prepare everything, or I have to do sit and do. So I'm very happy that she had presentation together with my team. So hopefully you can all come back to Matsuri. That I think still a lot of seats available. So go to the Anderson Gardens
The website?
website and then sign in. So I think you will enjoy all different kinds of tea will be shown to you. Enjoy more.
And then also, since I maybe mention Japan House Summer Festival.
This
We're not having it.
Not having it this
Okay,
year.
sorry.
So
Don't
never
listen
mind
to
about
Tim.
that.
But you're welcome to come to campus. We are actually kind of laying low this summer to do some garden projects and some other projects. And then starting fall, we actually do public teas every week on Wednesday evenings. And we do private teas for people who are interested also. And then we do 2 teas on the weekends, one Saturday a month. And then also, just to plug something else, Gunji Sensei did write this wonderful book about Wagashi, sweet making, and it's her second book, and she will be, we're kind of making fall semester to be all about Wagashi, and so we'll have many, many opportunities for people to sign up and come and do a Wagashi tasting with not only matcha, but some different types of sencha and different types of steeped Japanese teas along with her sweets. But it'll be an opportunity to learn a little bit more about Wagashi, seasonal Wagashi. That's why we're doing many. So we'll try to do one early on, so it's kind of tail end of summer. That's different sweets than what's gonna happen in fall, and then what's gonna happen in the winter time. So the variations of sweets will be highlighted in that, and that's what she highlights in her book. So
Actually, I brought it over, but I thought, well, I left it in my car. But I hope that I can leave with some copies here too. It's actually this is the second publication that I have done for Wagashi. Beautifully designed, beautifully photographed, beautifully designed by Jennifer. It was just stunning. Even though you don't want to make one, just enjoy looking at it. I would say just stunning. It's really, photography is so stunning too. So many of my friends, I don't make Wagashi, but oh, so enjoyable. So first one is more basic. This one is I put emphasis on season by season. So there is four season and like introductory booklet. So 5 of them in a beautiful, what do you call it? Beautiful box, like a box. But yeah, I carried all the way from Champagne, but I just Matsuri time, if you come to guest house, we'll have it there. Also, maybe hopefully gift shop.
We should have some in the gift shop at that point.
There are some in the gift shop. I checked today to make sure.
Not have yet,
Yeah.
but I haven't done it, because the older one is.
Oh,
I
the old
think
one,
that's
yeah.
the original one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there'll be the new one, maybe a month.
Yeah, older one is also beautiful, but this one is stunning.
It really is beautiful, and I've seen it. And but Mike, like really briefly, so the suite was brought out and was set in front of us, and then we wait until you let us know that it's time to enjoy the suite. But that the suite would change with every season, and there's so many variations. And we have some really great sweet makers in this group that are making beautiful sweets, and Sachio does an amazing job, and Ryan's doing really great work. So that's part of the tea ceremony. And just really briefly, like, why is the suite brought up?
white sweet product for the guests
Yeah.
to enhance the taste of tea. Because when tea is a little bit bitter taste, so then having the sweetness in your mouth, very nice, harmonious, nice taste. So that's why timing is important. If you too soon, not there. Right before making both tea, enjoy both sweet. And then you have sweetness in it. That's
And today's sweet was the kind of the lavender colored one is a hyacinth blossom.
It's actually
Hydrangea.
Hydrangea.
That's what I really meant to say. And so hydrangea and then a nice fresh green leaf.
Yeah, season is so important. Like enjoy season. And then also, which is fine, beautiful. Look at that. It's actually,
Show's over.
yeah, actually, this is
Pseudo-camellia. It's
yeah,
Marnia.
camellia. Camellia is the most cherished flower in Japan. The reason is like this, so ephemeral, so beautiful, but yet won't last long time. So when it's there, enjoy it. But amazing things, even after drop, it stays beautiful. And against the black, it's incidentally happened. Please do enjoy. And Catherine did such a beautiful job and just magically dropped in. More beautiful than almost. So that's beautiful. Any other things? No? So many familiar faces, and I really thank you so much for coming back and new faces. I'm very, very happy to be here. And come back again and enjoy. Thank you very much.